But don't worry, a few years later, they gave us Paranormal Activity 2. Would you read?
Yes.
I can't wait to see what the box says on this.
All right, here we got the, let's see. Paranormal Activity 2 is as groundbreaking as the original. Just as Daniel and Christy welcome a newborn baby into their home, a demonic presence begins terrifying them, tearing them apart, their perfect world, and turning it into an inescapable nightmare. Security cameras capture the torment, making every minute horrifyingly real. Critics warn to say goodbye to sleep, as Paranormal Activity 2 will haunt you long after its shocking final scene. All right, that one written a little bit better.
That
than
was
the
a little
last
bit better. So this is a prequel. So it's a prequel, and then they kind of introduce a new gimmick each one. This one was the security camera gimmick.
Right.
So this is a couple weeks, and they let you know this is.
I think it was 2 months before the first movie.
Yes. You're right. They come, or like they even go back a little further to like when the baby's like about to come, and then someone trashes the house, but nothing was taken.
Right. Which is why they set up the security cam.
Which is a good setup.
Right.
And absolutely nothing was taken. They make sure to say nothing was taken until you watch the beginning of 3. Where they mention what was taken. It's like, oh, wow, I guess they forgot about that part. So yeah, there's a new baby boy there. They're setting everything up. They have a young daughter there too. A teenage daughter. And this is Katie's sister and her family. I actually scared people on accident when it came out. So this came out the same time as Tangled, okay?
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember at the theaters at the time, there was this big Tangled cardboard display that was like her hair and it was wavy.
Right.
And I saw this with Johanna, who's on the show. And I was waiting for her to like come to the theater. And like where the theater where we go, like the reception's really bad and it was like loud. And I'm like, hold on, I can't hear you. And I went into the Tangled cardboard thing to hear her better. And I'm like, hey, are you here? Okay, cool. And as I walked out, these girls had no idea. Like I walked out of the Tangled thing and they were horrified and screamed. And I was like, ah! And I'm like, they probably went to see Paranormal Activity 2. And my fat ass coming out of Tangled was probably the scariest thing they saw that night.
They still have nightmares.
Yes.
I can't watch Tangled.
This one grew on me. I didn't like it right away. I was a little disappointed because they were kind of going a little too far in with the jump scares. Where do you land on this one?
I'm about the same. I thought it was okay, but to me, it felt like this was the Hollywood version.
Yes.
This is what we probably would have ended up with, like, logistically wise, if they did end up remaking the first one.
Yes.
Because there was just... they followed the Hollywood sequel rule, more of everything. So whereas Paranormal Activity Tokyo Night, they did have the scares a little bit sooner, but they effectively placed them out and they worked.
Yeah.
This one, it was like they had scares, they had more, and they were bigger.
Yeah, or sometimes they weren't as big. Like, oh, the pool vacuum keeps leaving the pool. But yeah, jump scares annoy me. They really, really annoy me. And I forget when this is coming out. Oh, yeah. In a couple weeks, we'll talk about how much I hate jump scares in the Nightmare on Elm Street remake review.
Oh.
That was another thing. Horror across the board around this time went all in on jump scares. Insidious, this, fucking Sinister.
Well, Sinister, like, really only had the... I mean, I goof on that.
Bagul?
On Bagul, yeah. That's become a thing on my channel. But yeah, Bagul, like, if I remember watching that the first time I watched it with my wife, and when it gets to the end, I'm sitting there, I'm like, please end, please fade it back, please fade it back. And I'm like, because I knew Bagul was, and he came out, and I'm like, ah! I'm like, this would have been one of the greatest movies ever, and I still love it. I hold it dear. I think it is a fantastic horror movie. Yeah. But I just want to go and re-edit it and just slow down the footage and fade to black, because that was what the original ending was. Yeah, you didn't need the Bagul in there.
That was the thing. Like a lot of times with these movies, sometimes it is a very scary thing, but they put the sound in and it like distracts me and it like takes away from the scare. Like I had that problem. I said it many times. 2017, like his eyes glowing in the sewer. I'm like, you didn't need a loud sound. That was scary already. Yeah. So there are a lot of like loud noises in this, like the kid's like toy going off. But this is when they start building on the lore a little bit.
A little too much.
A little too much. Get a little carried away with the lore. So we find out in this that the demon really wants Christie's son. And I think like the daughter or the dad do some investigating. And they're like, wow, maybe someone like made a pledge to some demon to offer up a son, but then they had daughters. So now it's coming for Christie's son. And the poor housemaid is trying to warn them, burning sage and stuff.
And they're like, get out of here, you. Yeah, they fire the poor lady. She's like, I'm just trying to help.
Yeah. And then they, like, eventually Christy gets, like, possessed. She's being real weird with Hunter. And they figure out a way to, like, exorcise her and get her out of there. Get the demon out of there, and that's when it goes to Katie. And then comes back. And I do like that scene where it comes back and Katie's just already covered. Katie like kills the entire family.
Yes.
Or except for the daughter. She's gone.
Right.
But I like Katie like does like a fucking Street Fighter Mortal Kombat uppercut into the camera. Yeah. Hadouken. I hope no one's done that yet. I'm going to add that to it. Hadouken. And then takes the son with her. But yeah, there's a couple of good scares in this one. It's a loud noise, but it's one that's justified when the mom, this is probably my favorite, when the mom's sitting in the kitchen by herself and like she hears something, then all the cabinets open up. That one got me. That one really got me. And then I also liked the shadow going over the daughter. Like when she's on the couch, that really got under my skin too. What was your favorite scare?
There were a lot of times where there was just something in the background, or like a just a little shadow walking past, or just enough to kind of creep you out. Like that was weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think probably for me it was the one where the girl was there and the shadow went over. Like that was really creepy.
That was a good one.
One thing I will say that I just recently found out, they started filming this before they had a completed script.
Yeah, a lot of that lore just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. They started working on it, and apparently the dailies, they were like, all right, this is complete garbage. We need to stop. Because they were in the first movie did so well. What's kind of funny was that they sat on it for so long, and then they finally released it, and it made a crap ton of money. And then, of course, it made a crap ton of money, so we need to poop out a sequel as fast as possible.
Yeah.
But then they're not putting any effort into it, and they're like, well, we just film it as fast as get it to theaters.
Well, that was the thing with the horror genre at the time. Like Saw, like we need a new Saw movie like every year. The Purge,
you remember,
we need
if
a new...
it's October, it must be Saw.
Yeah. And now they're doing it again.
Again.
But then they were like, The Purge. There's like 15 Purge movies.
Oh, Purge 2 is awesome.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, dude, don't watch the first one. The first one's terrible. The first one is...
I might have to do a worst Purge movie, and I don't know if you know this, Cecil, but you're supposed to watch every single movie when you do these.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So I will have to watch the first one.
All right. But back to Paranormal Activity. Yeah, they were in such a hurry to poop this one out that they started filming it. The dailies are coming in. They're like, oh my God, this is hot garbage. We cannot do this. They almost completely scrapped it. Christopher Landon came in, did a lot of rewrites, and I think that's where a lot of like the lore came from. And then they were like, ooh, we can expand on the lore in sequels.
Yeah, they do the prequel thing where they have to start explaining things that you didn't really care about. So like Katie in the first one, she's holding a cross. He doesn't know where it came from. And she's holding it so hard, she's bleeding. He goes into the attic or crawl space and he finds the burnt picture of her, which shouldn't exist because her house burnt down.
Right.
Then we find out that the sister had the picture the whole time, and the dad passed on the demon to Katie, and he burnt like just the edges of the picture, and then he also put the cross there, so he planted it in the house. I believe
he knew they were going to move in there.
How did he get it up in the? I think we might have joked about that in the commentary. It's like, hey Mika, can I just go up in your unfinished attic for a second?
Sure.
Yeah,
why not?
I just want to. Just really want to look at your attic. I don't know.
I'm going to place it in somewhere just so you can find it. Maybe not right away, but maybe if the demon...
I need to check your insulation up there.
Yeah, plot convenience.
Aren't you like a McDonald's franchise owner? Yeah, but I'm also going to check your... Yeah, so it starts explaining stuff like that. But as you said about like dailies and stuff, I wonder... if this is the start of them putting stuff in the trailer that's not in the movie, because there was a scene in the trailer of like the baby like out in the street that never made it into the movie, and like especially with our next film, they like go like the trailers have so many additional scenes that are never in the film. But it might be because they're just re-editing it and reshooting it on the fly. But when the trailer comes out, they just got to put whatever.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, as what, I'm sure your audience knows, but in general, like when they shoot the dailies, they hand it off to the trailer people.
Yeah.
Trailer people don't know what the story is. They just know to take the best scenes that they're finding and throw it, make it into something that's going to make people want to go see the movie.
Yeah.
So that's why there's so many times where it's like, that wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, where was that scene? That was in the movie.
They just decided that it didn't work. Now, every now and then, you'll get a situation like Black Christmas, the 2006 remake.
Oh, where they purposely
shot scenes for the
well, sometimes they purposely, and they might have done that for 3 a little bit. They purposely shoot things to mislead you,
right?
So you don't like guess what's going to happen and whatnot, which I'm okay with.
I'm a little on the fence, but I think that I would rather that than
Black Christmas, where they want the movie to look more exciting.
Right. It's like, well, then I guess apparently you have no faith in the movie. Like, I would rather them shoot stuff to kind of, give you a little bit of misdirection.
Yeah.
Because I hate nothing more than you're watching a trailer and you're like, well, don't have to watch the movie now. He just told me the entire thing.
Or like what they do with Marvel movies where they'll just digitally delete people. I love for that last Spider-Man movie, they messed up. They released the trailer and it's just Tom Holland swinging with all the villains. But they left the shot of the lizard getting kicked by nothing because they deleted the other Spider-Man.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was one of the international posters. So it's Tom Holland swinging toward all the 5 villains. And then you just see the lizard in slow motion go, because like they deleted Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire for the trailer.
Oh, that's funny.
And everyone caught it. We're like, okay, so because they were still trying to hide it. Like, okay, all 3 of them are in it because what the fuck just hit the lizard? Unless he's doing a cool twist in the middle of the air for no reason. But yeah, now that I've gone back and rewatched this a couple times, I do enjoy it a lot more. I think it was just the initial letdown was a bummer. Because I remember me and Johanna walked out of it and we were like, not walked out, but like when it was done, we were like, I thought that'd be a little bit better. Got kind of stupid. But I was still on board with the franchise.